Someone asked me yesterday, how did Kamala Persad-Bissessar become the leader of the UNC and by extension, once a prime minister? And it dawned on me how easily we forget the historical events that transpired in Trinidad and Tobago. So here is an oversimplified timeline of events that transpired. The year was around 2009 and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago was Patrick Augustus Mervyn Manning, PNM. And over in opposition, we had the Basdio Pandey-led UNC administration. Now, all wasn't right within the ranks of the UNC. And as always, we see that the UNC seems to be an unstable party. I don't know why they can't get their act together, but they just seem unstable. They just fight in the public, whereas the PNM does fight behind closed doors. For example, we all know that Penelope Beckers is being groomed to be the next leader of the PNM. A blind person can see that. But it's happening behind the scenes subtly. Whereas in the UNC, it had to have been a public spat, a public display, and it just brings down the value of the party over time. But that's a side note. So, things weren't well in the UNC. People were like, Basdio Pandey is a bit on the older side. His political career is on the decline, and there's no way he's going to win the next general election. He has to go. We need new blood. We need a new leader within the UNC. Then you started hearing in the news rumblings about internal elections within the UNC. The UNC needed a new leader. Now, at this point in time, again, it's understood you don't challenge the boss. You just do it. If you do it, you do it behind the scenes. However, this wasn't a behind the scenes affair. This was outward. People were outwardly calling for the removal of Basdio Pandey. So the next question would have been, who in the UNC is going to challenge Basdio Pandey? Obviously, everybody started looking at Jack Warner. Jack Warner has the finances to run a campaign like that, but Jack Warner is black, and let's face it, ain't no way a black man is going to run the UNC. So with Jack Warner out of the equation, all eyes started looking towards these two, Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Ramesh Lawrence Maraj. Now, nobody really trusted Ramesh Lawrence Maraj, if you know, you know. So they were looking at Kamala Persad-Bissessar, but Kamala Persad-Bissessar always appeared to be Basdio Pandey's protege. She was loyal to him, and it would be disloyal to challenge the boss. So everybody keep asking her, and she keep deferring, no comment, and I thinking, I'll leave it up to the Lord, I'll pray about it tonight. So it was up in the air for a while, will she or will she not challenge Basdio Pandey? And then at the last moment, like a thief in the night, the mark dropped. Kamala was running against Basdio Pandey. And that set off a series of events that led right into the campaign trail. But the kicker was that it was none other than Jack Warner financing her campaign. If you look at his power moves, he could have been president of FIFA if he really wanted to, But he kept supporting Sepp Blatter. Less stressed to be second in command, but he still have authority. He could have really tried to become leader of the UNC. Less stress, be second in command, and fund somebody else. This is a boss move.
At a meeting in Faizabad, Pandey insisted that Mr. Warner is paying for Persad-Bissessar's campaign.
He is financing Kamala's campaign. Everybody knows that.
Which is Basdio Pandey's greatest trait to this day. He would say exactly what everybody else is thinking but afraid to say. He would say it openly. As a matter of fact,
Did Jack not go on Mulchantres Junction and said that you were so drunk you fall down on Gandhi's statue? That is on record. I didn't say that, Kamala. Jack said that. Suraj Rambachan, a fraud of the highest order. I don't know if when that fella saying the milk at hunting, he mouth don't tie up.
Legend has it that even in the year 2023, we are still yet to find somebody who's a bigger fraud than Suraj Rambachan. You can imagine somebody calling you a fraud of the highest order. There's nothing more fraudulent than you, That is how savage Basdio Pandey was in his prime. But back to the campaign trail, because this was no more. This was fractured down the center. Basdio Pandey put on his beret and he was ready for war. This back and forth spilled over into Parliament as well, because Basdio Pandey was walking into Parliament one day and the media personnel asked him, do you know that Jack Warner is sitting in the chief whip seat? He was like, no. Now he probably knew before and was just poker-faced about it, or it was genuinely a shock to him, and again, he was so well-trained that he didn't show that he was that shocked or bothered by it. Take a look.
Mr. Warner's chief whip?
Well, he's sitting in the chief whip seat. We understand he's been appointed chief whip.
Oh, well, I must congratulate him then.
But here the thing, the chief whip seat where Jack Warner is currently sitting is on the right-hand side to the opposition leader, and to the left is Kamala Persad-Bissessar. So imagine, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, your new challenger and opponent, is to your left. And she uses her power to appoint the person who is funding her campaign to sit next to you to your right. As Morty would say,
Betrayal on all sides!
So how did somebody as petty as Basdio Pandey respond to this when he got into Parliament? Well, bro walked into Parliament, pulled his seat out and told Kamala Persad-Bissessar in a technical way, since you want my seat so much, look, it's yours. Sit on it. I see what you're doing. Take a seat. But obviously the awkwardness was too great. She had to say, nah. But here's the thing. While the UNC is clearly imploding in public, nobody's saying anything. The Speaker of the House, the President of the House, opposition members, people in Parliament, nobody's saying anything. Eventually, Patrick Manning couldn't take his shit no more. He had to make mention of what everybody's clearly saying. And he did so in the most statesman-like, diplomatic way possible. Take a listen.
It was Prime Minister Patrick Manning who would make first mention of the UNC leadership issues as he rose to congratulate the victorious members.
I'd like to congratulate the member for Shogunas West also on attaining the exalted office of chairman of his own political organization.
He would also pay special tribute to Mr. Pandey.
I think that he has made a significant contribution to the country's development, and at some appropriate time, I hope that the Parliament would recognize it.
That has to be the most diplomatic and statesman-like way to tell your opponent your time has passed. Your time has passed. Clearly, you are on your way out of your own political party. I ain't gonna lie, Patrick Manning had class in everything he did. But moving on, as history would show, Basdeo Pandey went on to lose the internal elections and was relegated to the backbenches, as is known. Kamala Persad-Bissessar won, obviously, and then went on a few months later to win the general elections and become the country's first female prime minister from 2010 to 2015.